Oh my god, hey, welcome back to my theatre-themed YouTube channel. My name is Mickey Joe and I am obsessed with all things theatre, which is why I was so excited when they announced that they would be recording the West End company of Hadestown. I love Hadestown. I love this score. I think it's so brilliant. I think it's so rich. I've really grown to love this score. I don't know that I fully appreciated it the first time I heard it because it's so lyrically dense, it's so clever, and the themes and the stuff it's talking about, the way that it's using ancient Greek mythology to speak to contemporary issues in society and climate change and sort of like the mood of the world that we live in now and what it means for us to dream and to aspire. Anyway, I think it's a beautiful show. I love the West End production. I think the cast they assembled for the show's West End return, because it was in London pre-Broadway, was fantastic, is fantastic. I reviewed the show when it came back to the West End earlier this year. You can go and check out all of my thoughts about that to find out why I love Hadestown so much, why I've come to love it so much. But today, I'm just going to react to the album. Now, this is not a full cast recording. This is a highlights album. And often, you know, when they do a highlights album, it is the highlights, at least of the score, like it's the biggest hitters, and the stuff they tend to cut is the more incidental songs. This one is strange because we have some conspicuous omissions from the track listing here. Before you ask me why this is, I don't specifically know, I haven't been told. What I gather here is that because they did a live recording right towards the end of the first principal cast's run, Dónal, who played Orpheus, and Grace Hodgett Young, who played Eurydice, were both leaving the show, and they did a live recording right towards the end of that time, and I gather they just weren't happy with something about the recordings. It could have been any number of things. It could have been audience problems, it could have been something to do with the capture on a handful of songs. In any case, I'm thrilled that we do have the recordings that we have, and I haven't listened to any of them yet, so I am very excited to bring you all of my thoughts about this recording. Now, this is going to be edited for those of you watching on YouTube. If you want to see the full unedited reaction to the entirety of the cast recording, you can click on the link in the description and sign up to become a channel member, where I will be uploading the full version. And also, before someone tells me I'm talking over all of the songs, that's the point of the video. I'm going to be reacting to it. I'm not reviewing it explicitly, but I'm going to be sharing my thoughts both about these performances and the material at large. If you want to go and listen to it for yourselves, then go and listen to it for yourselves. And I encourage you to do that anyway. Go and download, buy, stream the Hadestown London Highlights album wherever you get your theatrical music. In the meantime, I'm about to listen to it for myself. Feel free to subscribe while I'm finding it on my phone and turn on notifications. Here we go. Okay, I'm ready for you, Melanie Barrie.
All right!
All right! Oh, those were some notes, Melanie Barrie. Known to Broadway audiences for Anne Juliet, West End audiences for that, and Matilda and Mary Poppins. I won't sing along the whole time, I promise. Once upon a time there was a railroad line. We're already hearing that New Orleans jazz. Here we go.
It's an old song. It's an old song. It's an old tale from way back when.
I started clapping instinctively. I forgot that's where they did it. She knew they were recording today. They told her, by the way, album recording, she was like, say less. Also, she does perform this role with her own Trinidadian accent. You'll hear a very exciting mix of accents on this album. This is one of those introduce all of the different players in the company musical theatre opening numbers.
With a suitcase full of summertime.
Aw, I want a suitcase full of summertime. Mine's always just filled with clothes.
If you ride that train,
I should make a playlist full of musical theatre songs that talk about train journeys. What am I doing? I'm skiing now. What's this? I like a live album because you get the claps. That's key. That lyric will come back. Times are hard. Speak on it. Is that a London-specific lyric? This is the band. Ooh. Lovely bit of brass. All these people know it's recording there. We're pulling back.
There was a young girl looking for something.
Should I go to New Orleans? I think I'd have a lovely time there.
Orpheus and Eurydice.
Spoiler alert, if you don't know the tale of Orpheus and Eurydice.
Here's a love song.
They tell you. They tell you. Everyone's going off. Oh my god. That's an opening number. That is an opening number. Oh my god. Okay. Now we're mysterious. We're beginning our tale.
And you know how those muses are.
Love how she says that.
They abandon you.
Oh, I didn't even get that lyric. Oh my gosh. You know how those muses are. Sometimes they abandon you. Who is Orpheus's muse in the traditional sense? Eurydice. Listen to the first thing he says to Eurydice as well. There's so much foreshadowing in this show. So this is a comedy line, so you don't notice the meaning.
Come home with me.
Everyone laughs. Come home with me. What does he spend most of the show trying to get her to do?
I'm Eurydice.
I love the vocal underneath his vocal as well.
The spring will come again.
Come again.
That's so lovely. Spring will come again.
Time to fix what's wrong. Take what's
I love a
broken,
Celtic
make it
Orpheus.
new.
It's such a naturally poetic voice. It has so much beauty and poetry and angst in it, all wrapped up. So much emotion.
That's worth a lot.
Orchestration starting to change
What else
slightly
you got?
as we transition into the next one. I like how punchy it is. Bam, 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 bam.
Tell me if you can.
This was the moment at the press launch. We found out they were going to use their own accents when she said lover. We were all like,
And they're gonna break their banks for us. With their
this is a lovely way to do courtship. You don't get this on Tinder these days, I feel. No one's bringing poetry to Tinder.
The wedding table
Times be what they are.
Getting darker all the time.
I love her tone on that. Getting darker.
The one you're working on.
She's a little more forward than a lot of other
Why don't you
Eurydices.
sing it? Sing it.
She's like, sing it. You got this. You can do this, Orpheus. It's crazy high. I can't even think that high. Madness. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it.
How'd you do
Woohoo!
that?
Magical flower. Flower country through song.
Who's gonna make the wedding bed?
I mean, you can share that. You can take turns to make the bed. The person who gets up second. The person who gets up second makes the bed. I mean, that's very lovely. It's very Snow White coded. Again, this is just, you don't get this on Tinder. Orpheus isn't hitting her with a hey you up, you know what I mean? That riffs on his la 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 la. It's sort of an inversion of that melody. Clap for love.
And on the road to hell,
Jazz
there was
like
a
this
long
usually
waiting.
doesn't signify anything good in this show. This kind of all talks about global warming, the effect on weather.
Well, it's like they said, I'm an outdoor girl.
Yeah, and
Here she is. This is Gloria Onitiri, one of my favourite Persephones.
Like my mama always
I love the
said,
reference to her mother. That's an important part of her myth.
you will live.
It's a very husky vocal. I wonder if this was a bit of a week for her. One of my favourite performances in this company, actually, was Gloria's as Persephone. And she understudied Amber at the National Theatre when the show was pre-Broadway. How are we living it? Where are we living it? It's a call and response.
that this young girl decided to stay.
Aww, it's going to make me hungry, isn't it? Yes. What would you drink with Hadestown? Like a whiskey? Would you sip on a whiskey? Hey! Oh, suddenly it's Hamilton. I can't remember how they dance. What's Hadestown choreography look like? Not like this. Cut my spine doing that. Band sounds great. A sort of growing sense of cacophony. When summer finally hits, is your first inclination to like dance this energetically? I lie down. Go swim in a nice cool body of water. This is the problem with British people. We will always complain about whatever the weather is and wish for the alternative.
Up on top, we ain't got much.
Clap for the musicians.
Finally return to us. with wine enough to share.
That's a pointed comment. You'd feel a lot of pressure as Persephone, wouldn't you? If you don't know, mythologically speaking, she controlled the seasons.
The world we dream about.
This is very important.
The one we live in. No.
Very poignant, very profound.
Because right now we're living it.
Speaks beyond the show to the audience, to the world it lives in. There's a real message to this show. There's a real idea of what they're saying with it. But yeah, you'd feel a lot of pressure being Persephone, controlling the seasons. I certainly don't think about that when I make train journeys.
He could make you see how the world could be.
He sings flowers into existence.
She'd seen how the world was.
That's a lot of Hadestown's whole thing as well, seeing the way the world could be, in spite of the way that it is. You fall in love with the story, even if you know how it's going to end. Hadestown, if anything, is a show that teaches us to dream in spite of reality. I get a little love song moment here. I love her tone here. It's that little bit beltier than she is in Sunset Boulevard, which is very, like, mixy head voicey. Suddenly the sunlight, I love it. Hers is, I think you can tell, a little more hard-edged, a Eurydice. She takes a little longer to really break open and show that vulnerability. She's starting to here. Lovely placement. Oh, the fluidity on that. And it's a lovely foil for him because he's such a soft little Orpheus. He is a beating heart exposed. This is the bit where they get you, where they're like, yeah, believe in love. See how that goes. But they want you to. We tell the story again. That's the whole point. It's a show that teaches you how to get up and live every day in a horrifying world.
I'm gonna hold you forever.
It's so fragile, it's so delicate. I enjoyed that a lot. It all goes downhill quite quickly now. Here comes the dang train. Summer's over.
Better go get your suitcase packed.
Guess it's time to go.
She's gonna ride that train. She's gonna the end of the line.
I love that we get to the end of the line. What are the other stops on the road to hell? I love Mel's voice doing this. She is magical, just naturally magical. Lovely bit of band to distract you about the increasingly sinister undertones. I'm going to give myself a neck injury today. Oh, Mel, go off. This is what I like about the live recordings. They are acting through this. Something dirty about that brass. Silver and gold don't go together. I'm just saying. I used to listen to the pre-Broadway Hadestown a lot more than the Broadway one. And that used to be an Orpheus line with a "To the King on the Chromium Throne." Here we go.
I missed ya.
The depth of that, the bass. I missed ya. She said the quiet part out loud. She's thinking it. Love that on the top. Nice. Good work. Good work, everybody. Oh no, this is where... Okay, so now we're going to Hadestown. This is what it's like. I once worked at Next the night before a sale, doing sale prep. It was not dissimilar to this. They're also on a revolve. What if I just slowly revolve throughout this? You won't be able to hear me. Oh gosh. What was it like before she left? Is this all brand new? She acts like it's brand new. This is a man who does not know how to show his love. Capitalism is not the way. Orpheus is like Roger trying to write one song Gloria up in here. Lower, Orpheus. If you write it lower, this is going to be hard for you to sustain at multiple performances. It's like Adina doing Let It Go in the studio. It seems like a good idea at the time. Oh, gotta keep your head low. Oh, she's not happy. It's so bright down here. I love that pulse beneath it. It's very industrial. Orpheus is hearing too many of their personal conversations. Really, he's a marriage counsellor. That's the subtext of this whole thing. Hades is insensitive and Persephone's drunk. That's what he's saying. What have they done?
The gods have forgotten the the song of their love.
They forgot the song of their love. They need to do the mythological equivalent of rewatching their old like wedding video. Don't worry, we'll get there in the second act. Oh, we're hearing the Fates. Hello, Maddie, Bella, and Allie. So nice.
It's everything we have.
Should you have been keeping everything you have in your coat? Did you hear how that changed? She eased off as the orchestration changed. It's a moment of honesty. She's trying to appeal to him, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. They're not having a productive conversation. And she was starting to there, but she then bookended it with that, it ain't right, and it still turned to spite. And so he's retaliating. He's not hearing. He's not hearing. Everyone's popping off. I look like a crab. This is Zachary James you're hearing as Hades. BT dubs. 3 Fates, 3-part harmony. I love this one. I always listen to this and feel like I should learn the banjo. Should I learn the banjo? It's some of my favourite arrangements. That scoop is so good. I also love that it's not very, like, precisely enunciated. It's like, what are you gonna do when the chips are down? Cascade down. I like the way that as that note falls down, they rise back up, and it's like she's trying to see sense, but their antagonistic voices are taking over her thoughts. Aim for the heart. Aim for the heart. I love it. If you don't do it, then the other one will. You get a knife in the back. Nobody's righteous. Keeps going. They are not letting up on her. Ah, also a great song to sing to someone who's accidentally just dropped potatoes on the floor. Give it to me. Give it to me. Magical.
Excuse me, Hermes.
I love his excuse me, Hermes. He's so sweet. Hermes shaming him at this point. Hermes is like, you messed up.
This is where I'll go.
Not desperation at that point. He's still like, I'll go find her, whatever.
I call your name before she went.
She did.
But I guess you weren't listening.
In fairness to him, her calling his name was cut from the highlights.
That's an easy walk.
Does he have to walk? He could take a bicycle. Something with wheels.
With all my heart.
A horse. He could ride a horse. Or a large goat.
How to get to Hadestown? You have to take the long way down.
This is probably my favourite bit of this score.
Wait for me. I am coming.
He has such conviction in his voice at that point. He is going to get her. Where do the lanterns swing? Already? Love that from Allie Daniel. I think the lanterns have stopped, but I'm having fun with this. La, 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 la. Flower magic. Woo. Open the doors, open the walls, set changes, things go up.
Don't give your name, you don't have one.
Ah. Can I dangle this? Oh, game changer. Oh my gosh. It's so good. Unbelievably, this is not the Act 1 finale in the show. Oh, that climbing scale and the strings. I don't know if I've ever picked up on that before. Let us all remember the day that I broke this ring light trying to reenact Hadestown. I think we're about to find out why we build the wall. This always gets compared with Trump. And this was written pre-Trump and the whole wall of it all. Of course, not the first wall in a challenged country politically. Berlin can tell you all about that. I was ready to come in then. It's too soon. Still not yet. I love that. What is that called on strings?
Why do we build the wall?
Tell me he doesn't sound a little younger as a Hades. You can hear in Zachary, I think, more of a sense of the young Hades he once was. The wall keeps out the enemy. That's That's why we build the wall. I would not do well at this. I know. I have the answer. Pick me. Is it poverty? It's poverty. It's poverty. Yes. We build the wall to keep us free. That really is very low.
And they have not. My children.
What did that sound like? Captain Barbosa, Jeffrey Rush.
We have got.
Angry. If you have to shout as a leader, then like they don't respect you enough to listen to you when you're being quiet. That's what I think. There's a bit of a dirge to go out to the interval on, but it's important in terms of the narrative. It's a bold choice. The wall. It's cyclical. Like Hadestown itself. Do you think they sing this every morning before work? Oh, soft on the free. Do they even know what a morning is? They don't see the sun. How do they measure time? That's a question I have.
There are papers to be signed.
That's a euphemism.
Step into my office.
That's also a
And he
euphemism.
closed the door behind.
I bet he did. This is a great line to go out to the interval on.
Anybody want a drink?
Interval. Oh, so we've cut Our Lady of the Underground, which, because it's the live version, would also have like name-checked and shouted out all the different musicians.
True what they say.
We've gone straight to If It's True.
And the girl I love is gone.
I love his version of this. This is my favourite moment of his in this show.
Is this how the world is?
It's heart-wrenching. He sort of snarls through it. There's a resentment. He's been really wounded by what he's just learned. He was very optimistic when he went to walk to Hadestown, but part of that long walk and then what he found out afterwards has damaged him in a way. I love this moment musically. What you're hearing here is him influencing the workers of Hadestown in real time. They're inspired by his song. That's his whole deal. He inspires people with his music. He's an influencer before his time. Say it. Tell him. Can we get him as a front man of like a big rock group after this? This man does a lot of television. Why is this man not singing always? This is very pro-union. That's what he's doing. He's unionizing the workers in real time. Oh, it's so snarly. I promise you, his performance of that in the theatre, crying, and it was even better than you're hearing on this recording. I famously prefer the pre-Broadway version of Epic 3. Controversial. Did they cut Hades' line where he says, "Oh, it's about me"? That would have normally just happened and got a laugh.
He fell in love with Persephone.
Persephone. That was very plosive. I love to watch a Hades and a Persephone react to hearing this melody because it means something to them.
That melody.
You can hear how upset he is by it.
Let him finish.
They've both longed to hear it, but they've been afraid to sing it to each other. It's about being emotionally vulnerable and honest with each other. That's very romanticized when he says he wanted to take her home. Abduct her would be... They hadn't met at this point. Bigger now. Flowers! Flowers everywhere! Flowers for you, flowers for me. You get a flower, you get a flower, he gets a flower. We're in a waltz, excuse me. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're in triplets.
And they know how it is.
This is the new lyrics. These were earlier lyrics brought back that they then changed on Broadway, I think.
There's a hole in his arms where the world used to be.
Oh, that's a beautiful lyric. There's a hole in his arms where the world used to be. Because she's his world. Everything to him. Oh my gosh.
Cause the thing that is building his wall around is already lost.
It's his heart. He's building a wall around his heart.
Where is the treasure inside of your chest?
Ah, treasure chest. I've somehow never picked up on that. There's such a tenderness to this vocal. It's so vulnerable, it's so fragile.
Nothing to lose. Singing.
He's given the mic to Hades. He's like, you go. Persephone's reaction to Hades singing that melody again, presumably for the first time in a very long time, is everything. Orpheus's capacity for love reminds Hades how to. Just hearing the song of his love, being reminded what that felt like, allows him to feel it again. Doesn't fix everything,
Back into tune is what he did.
but it puts them back in the right direction. This is a waltz. La la la, la la la. Lovely melody in the instrumentation. If he keeps singing in this falsetto, are there more flowers appearing? Does that happen to him a lot in life? When he sings happy birthday to people, just like flowers everywhere? He could do cabarets, and that could be the theme.
You finished it.
Yes!
She... Oh, that got a spontaneous round of applause. She could be more encouraging.
Just go back the way you came.
Has he slept since arriving? Honestly, I think if they just let him nap at this point, things might go very differently. Let him have a snack. Have a banana. A packet of mini cheddars. Just a little sustenance.
I have no bed of feather.
This is a sign. Because he had no concern about that before. He was like, the trees will be our table and the birds will make a bed, or we'll sleep on the birds, whatever it was. He now is cognizant of everything they don't have. His optimism has been dampened a little. And that's a problem, or it's gonna be.
What about then?
We'll show the way.
I always feel conflicted at this point, because it's like, presumably, some souls need to remain in Hadestown. Oh, lovely.
I will.
They're all getting... Talk about third wheeling. He's like, excuse me, Hades, let me just like rock up to your town, help you out with your wife, and then take your entire workforce with me.
Wait for me. I'm coming.
I don't need to swing the lanterns again, it's not steadier. We only ever think about Eurydice here. They're all following. The implication is kind of dooms a lot of people.
Wait for me.
I will.
Love it. Oh, aggressive from the Fates. The Fates like, who the F are you?
Who are you to think that you can hold your
You!
higher than your fellow man?
Allie, Daniel, people, every time. I've seen Allie as Hermes. She's fantastic. The build in these orchestrations. We know what moment we're building towards. We're walking on a turntable. Everything backs off. Wait for that drum beat. So good. Didn't breathe. Oh, yummy. It's a little Destiny's Child, dare I say. Eurydice, can you handle this?
Because here's the thing.
Oh my gosh, we've skipped so much.
How it ends.
I forgot about this.
Begin to sing it again.
I never even did my spinning.
I learned that from a friend of mine.
I forgot Doubt Comes In is not on this cast album. That's kind of criminal, honestly.
He could make you see how the world could be.
It's all cyclical. It all comes back.
In spite of the way that it is. There was a railroad car.
But there's this strange optimism in it. If you listen to these chords, it's not sorrowful. It's spring out of winter. Winter will come and spring will always follow. We will always remember how to love, even after loss. I think Mel is my favourite Hermes. So, love that little lift there. It's a buoyant melody. Everyone is joining in. It's gaining strength and size.
We're going to sing it again.
Is that the last track? Is that where this ends? Have they recorded cups? That might be it. Oh no, we're fading. Okay. I mean, I will say some surprising choices about the omissions on that track list, and listening to it all the way through for a narrative. we really jump through some very important stuff and through some wonderful pieces of music and through some of my favourite performance moments from seeing this company a couple times. I've seen the London cast now 3 times. I saw first preview, I saw opening night, press night, and then I went back to see, I think it was a Friday night performance in July because Allie Daniel was going on that day as Hermes. Allie is second cover Hermes, I think. But yeah, I'm very glad that this album exists in whatever capacity it does. I love this cast. And it's something about all of these different accents. And even if if it's around on the West End for long enough that we end up with a cast with slightly less variety in the accent, like we don't always have like an American voice in there and a Caribbean voice in there and like different Celtic accents and like Northern and whatever. I love that we did at the beginning of it because it makes it sound less like a story tethered to a particular place and more just like a story of the world. It's timeless and it's for everywhere and for everyone. I love the lyrics are so rich and so dense that I'm still hearing things, I'm still discovering things every time. I think there will always be something every time I go back to Hadestown, and if it's not in the lyric, it's in the staging, it's in something, someone handing something to someone else, it's something happening to signify. There is so much depth, there is so much meaning in all of this and what it represents. It's a beautiful, meaningful, very intelligent show that I encourage everyone to listen to and to go and see wherever it's playing near you. I hope that you have also had the chance to enjoy the Hadestown London Highlights album. I will be listening to it again. We're going to listen again, everybody. Specifically, If It's True, I think is the highlight of that album for me. But also, Grace had some great moments, and everything Mel Barrie did, astonishing, just wonderful. Some of my all-time fave Hadestown performances I think have come out of that cast, so thrilled that they are captured on the recording. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this reaction. Like I said, if you want to watch the full unedited version, you can find that on my channel members section. The link is in the description of this video. If you're watching this as a channel member, thank you so much to you for all of your support. It really means a lot. Comment down below with which your favourite track was from the Hadestown London Highlights album, and let me know what you would like me to react to next. I am planning to do one of these videos for Starlight Express and another one, of course, for the Wicked motion picture soundtrack. So stay tuned for those. If you don't want to miss those videos, make sure you're subscribed right here on YouTube with the notifications turned on so that your device tells you every time I share a new video. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day. For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey, thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!